Hey there, what's up, guys? I'm Audrey, coming to you from O-Scale.A.I, and today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that's really close to my heart and that affects so many people that I know in my industry, and it is the topic of social media burnout. Now, do you know what I'm talking about? I actually wrote an article on this, so throughout this video, I will be sharing screen with you so that you can see what I've written in there and expanding on some of the points and sharing the journey with you along the way. So, social selling burnout. What is the cure? Like, how do we automate, scale, and still stay authentic? That's the goal of today's video. So, I'm going to share screen here so you can kind of follow along with me. But imagine this, you're like waking up in another, it's another day, you wake up, you have to do another set of DMs, you have to do another post, and also you have to deal with maybe new algorithms messing up your engagement once again, right? So you feel like you're constantly running on a treadmill that never stops. How many of you can relate to what I'm saying, right? So there's this interesting LinkedIn study that found that nearly 70% of social sellers experience burnout, with the biggest causes being content fatigue. And you know why? Because they're constantly stuck in an endless cycle of content fatigue, constant engagement, and the fear of losing momentum, or even the fear of people forgetting who they are. Because I've certainly had that stupid thought come in my head many, many times, right? So here's the thing that nobody tells you, that burnout isn't a sign that you're failing. It's just a sign that your system is not working. You've got the wrong system, you've got a broken one. So, what is the fix? Well, we're going to talk about that today. Automation and authenticity is possible. You can have both things at once. It's a perfect balance between your own personal connection with other people, but also leveraging on smart systems. All right. So let's go diving in on how we can work smarter and not harder and finally take control of your business. So, what exactly is social selling burnout? Well, it is defined as when entrepreneurs over rely on manual engagement, right? So everything is basically dependent on you showing up every single moment of the day, leading to mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion. You're always feeling exhausted every time you open up your phone, right? You are dreading the interactions that you used to have excitement about. And you post because you have to. Like, I got into that habit. If I just come back to the main screen, I did get into a habit where I was posting every single day because I thought I had to. And it got to a point where there was this friend of mine that actually I was engaged in conversation with her, and she said, "Wow, Audrey, you show up every single day. How do you do that?" And it really brought to my mind just what it really sounded like was I had no life and I was showing up every single day live or posting something ad hoc at a time that was convenient to me in our social groups. And that was a real wake up call. It did take me still many, many years before I could actually automate that. But I still remember that comment so, so clearly, like it was yesterday. Yep. So coming back to the screen, and also every time the algorithm changes, right, on your different platforms, you start panicking and you have to jump into action and figure out how to override that and change your routine or change your technique or tactic. So the reality check is that social media, right, controls your business instead of the other way around. If that's your story, then it is time to change that. And if you're feeling stressed every time you have to jump on social media on your phone, then you're not alone. Let's go down to the second point. So, why do social sellers burn out, right? Why does this happen? First of all, over reliance on manual outreach. So, you're messaging hundreds of people, right? Manually trying to start conversations, following up and chasing leads, but it's draining and most of those leads actually never convert. I mean, you have great conversations, but they don't convert. Or even worse, most of them don't even respond back or reply back. So that's not fun. And then you have the always on mentality, the fear that if you stop posting, your business will die. So that obviously was something I had going on in my life. Inconsistent results. 1 month sales are fantastic. Like it's cyclical, right? There's these patterns every year that you see. And then the next, nothing. And that uncertainty or even certainty that that's happening is stressing you out even before that month comes around the corner. And you still haven't done anything about it to fix that cyclical problem. Now, there's also algorithm anxiety, which I mentioned earlier, which is the feeling that you're at the mercy of the platform changes that control your visibility. So the platform decides who sees your content, and it feels like that you're at their mercy. Now, no scalable system. So you're stuck on a one-to-one model a lot of the time instead of reaching multiple people at once. Or at least you think you're reaching multiple people. But again, the algorithms, who's actually seeing your content, you have no idea how to gauge that, how to track that, how to monitor that, and how to fix that, right? So here's the truth. Burnout isn't fixed by working harder. It's fixed by working smarter. So we're going to go into the antidote here. I know you might be jumping ahead, but please stay with me. So automation, I mean, when we talk about automation these days, people get a bit freaked out. They think that it's going to replace them, that it's going to replace human to human relationships and connection. But it really doesn't. It really doesn't. It amplifies it. And I'll explain why, right? So by leveraging on automation, you are able to free up the time and use that time that you freed up to do the things that really matter, which is the really deeper connections that you build with the really important customers that you find. So, how automation prevents burnout is through AI powered engagement. Now, let's break this down. Chatbots, automated responses, and CRM tools handle initial conversations so that you only engage with high intent leads. So let's break that down and explain what that really means. So let's say someone messages you, right? And they say, hey, I'm interested in your program. Can you tell me more? Well, instead of stopping what you're doing to reply, you simply allow the chatbot that you've programmed to automatically respond with a friendly customized message. And it says, hey, Michelle, great to hear from you. What are you looking to achieve? Do you want more sales? Do you want more engagement? Let me know and I'll send you the best resources or I'll give you the tips to get that done. So now instead of answering 100 people individually, you only jump into conversations that are really worth your time. Now, the next point here is scheduled content strategy. So instead of daily content stress, you are batch creating posts and using scheduling tools. That's a great one that doesn't really need too much explanation, other than the fact that you, instead of doing the same thing daily and you're spending so much time doing that, you do it in batches and maybe either choose part of the day where you do an hour of it, or it could be a single day during the week that is dedicated to content creation. And then you create all those posts that you've done, whether turning them into shorts perhaps, and then you're using a scheduling tool to pre-schedule it for you ahead of time. So while you're doing other things during the week, these posts are getting posted out without you, right? Worrying about it. Then you have automated follow-ups. So lead nurture sequences, keep prospects warm without manual effort. Now, what does that mean? So let's just say, because, what does nurture mean and how does automation actually nurture people? So let's explain that a little bit better. So say, for example, someone signs up for your free guide on how to grow your social selling business or whatever it is that you're doing, right? You're giving them a free guide and they immediately will get an email with a link to that free guide that you've automated. Here's your free guide plus 3 quick tips you can implement today. Now, with nurturing, what you can do is, and I'll come back to the main screen, what nurturing means is the automation is set up so that in 2 days' time, for example, depending how you want to schedule it out, they get a second email. And that email might say something like, are you struggling with DMs? Well, here's how to automate them without losing authenticity. Whatever the value you're creating for your customer, give it in the email, spaced out over time. And that's what we mean by nurturing. And then email 3 is, hey, I'd love you to meet Sarah. She was overwhelmed, but here's how automation changed her business, or here's how this product changed her life, right? So that's email 3. And then you might have an email 4, which is a call to action, or a CTA as we call it in the industry. Are you ready to stop feeling burned out? Let's chat. Here's my link to book in a chat with me. So by the time they get on the call with you, they are already warmed up. They are ready to pretty much buy because the email sequence has brought them to your link and they actually booked it in themselves. So that's what we mean by lead nurture. And as I pop back over to the share screen, now let's go to the next one, scalable sales funnels. So this is when you let landing pages and automated systems convert customers while you focus on strategy, right? Gosh, what is all this? What does all this mean? Landing pages, automated systems. Okay, let's break that down. So instead of sending 50 DMs a day, you create a single landing page, which is super easy to do. I'm so surprised I can do this myself. AI technology in general has evolved so much that it's easy for small business owners like myself to now do this without giving it to an expensive agency to do for me or for you, right? It's very, very affordable. Now, instead of sending 50 DMs a day, you create a single landing page with a very compelling message. And these landing pages are already designed to be optimized to create impact. There's so much studies that have been done on it, and it's a whole industry on its own. But you can say something like, "Hey, do you want to scale your business without social media burnout? Download this free guide and learn how to today." Or, "Do you want to learn how to age gracefully and look 10 years younger? Download this free guide today and I'll show you how." Something like that. Now, when they download the guide, you obviously are exchanging value for value. You're giving them the guide in exchange for their name and their email. And so the system actually collects that information and it puts it to the system, and then they get automated follow-ups, just like the email sequence I explained earlier. So you get to craft out this amazing email sequence that touches base with them on many, many points. And as you know, many of you might know that it takes sometimes 7 to 12 touch points for a customer to actually buy from you. So this used to be a manual task that I did. But now, when you have these smart systems and smart sites and automations, then all the touch points are created by you in advance, and then the emails go out or the DMs go out, and they get all those touch points without you doing that manually. So this means no more chasing leads. It means that your content and your automation is doing the heavy lifting. Yay! We want that. So really what it's about is that's how you stay authentic while using automation. Doesn't that sound amazing and enticing, right? So you still get personalized interactions. You get to customize your responses the way you want it to and how you sound, right, when you write. And you can also use voice notes as well. So I'm sure there's ways where, the automated voice notes are recorded somewhere to remain that human, to maintain that human connection. That is possible. It might not be for everyone, but you can create chatbots that sound like you, as you may have heard, right? And you could say, "Hey, I am so and so's assistant. I'm Audrey's AI assistant. How can I help you?" It has your voice and tone, although it might be a little creepy, but that is an option. There's live check-ins. You have time to have live check-ins now. You engage when it's only necessary instead of all the menial questions that you might get that can be handled by AI and automation. Now you get to actually have real conversations because you've conserved your energy, you've conserved your time, and you get to dive deeper with that person. And you still get to share your story. So automation works best when paired with authentic, value-driven content, right? So you're using storytelling in your emails, using it in your messages. You are really keeping it real in your content still. You're not using just automation and not using your own story within that and your own touch. So that's really about how you can free up your time for the best conversations. It's not about replacing you, all right? So the key takeaway, as I mentioned, yep, you focus on the most impactful conversations. Now, as we go on to the next point here, practical steps to avoid burnout and scale social selling rather. So step 1 is you have to set boundaries. You really have to. And I was really bad at that, right? This is the only way you can make time to do what matters, make time to automate and scale your business. And you have to create a sustainable schedule. So let's break that down. Now, Designate online and offline hours to prevent constant engagement. You have to treat your business professionally. You have to have hours specific to your audience when they can and cannot reach you. Um, as I've learned over the years, you teach people how to treat you. So if you're just like an open house, your door's always open all the time, then they're going to take advantage of that. They're going to use that. So make sure you have those hours and don't pick up the phone when it's outside of that. If you've automated your system, the DMs, the questions will get addressed by the AI bot and the automations. And we'll get a little bit further into how you can bypass that. That's not a problem either if you truly need to respond to the person. But this is the main thing to get. Make sure you have boundaries. Use content batching to eliminate daily posting stress. So, obviously, that one we have talked about earlier, and how you can create posts in advance. And implement power hours, short, focused engagement windows instead of all day social media scrolling. I am so guilty of that. Yes. So actually, if I come back to the main screen, I used to have these power hours. It was really nice and cute with some of my friends or some of my business partners or collaborators. And I guess they were kind of, pretty eventful and constructive and productive. But there were times when I got into those power hours and I wasn't able to focus. Or I really was doing a lot of fluff. Like I thought I was doing something important, but I was just doing more uh, DMing and interacting, right? So, what happened there, I think, is because I was doing all the other stuff manually all the time, anyways, it became such an ingrained habit that when it was time for power hour, I was literally doing the same thing. I don't know if that's a problem unique to me or whether you can relate to that, but it really wasn't doing the thing that needed me to propel my business. I just thought that being busy meant that it was a power hour that was constructive, and that's not the case. So, coming back to the screen here, the share screen, an example would be making sure you have maybe 30 minutes of engaging with people, right? And maybe 30 minutes of content creation is your power hour. Or this is how you might want to set up your day: 30 minutes of engagement, 1 hour of content creation, 1 hour of outreach, and then you log off, and there's no guilt and no stress because you have logged that activity in. Or you might be something like what I do now is really a weekly action habit tracker where I dedicate certain small tasks that I know consistency matters, right? I'll come back to here on the screen where I know certain activities matter with consistency. So I'll actually do that scattered throughout the week 3 to 4 times. Or it might be a daily activity, but it could be a short one for 1 hour every day. There are other activities that take a little longer to get momentum and progress, and that's content creation. So we actually fix one day a week just for content creation. Like today, it's our content creation Tuesday. And that is how you're going to really carve away at the giant marble, at the project that you're trying to carve out of that. That's the only way you can really create real progress in your business and have time left over to do the important things in your life. Now, as we move on to the next point, step 2, practical steps to avoid burnout and scale: automate lead generation and follow ups. So, use AI chatbots and automated DMs to handle first touch interactions, right? Now, set up email nurture sequences, as we mentioned, to warm up prospects without constant check ins. And then finally, you want to leverage CRM, customer relationship management systems, to track and segment leads based on engagement. Now, what does this mean? What does this look like when we talk about using the CRM to track your leads? Now, what that really means is, like, just let's say 100 people download your freebie on your landing page or your website. Now, what happens is with these smart sites and with automation is that the CRM will automatically collect that lead and label it as new leads. Now, when they open the email to access the freebie that you've provided for them, they are going to be moved to another segment or label called interested leads. And then obviously in that email or in that free lead magnet, you have led them to the CTA, which is to book you in for a call, a free consultation call or a free discovery call. Once they click on that link to book you in for that call, they're automatically segmented or labeled as a hot lead. So that's what we mean by leveraging CRM systems to track and segment leads based on engagement. And this really helps you to focus only on those hot leads, on people that are actually interested to buy. Can you imagine how much time you could free up when you just clearly can see which segment of your target market or which segment of your leads are the most important right now? So that to me was a huge breakthrough moment for me. Now, as we move along, there's step 3. Focus on one-to-many strategies instead of one-to-one. So instead of relying on manual DMs, create valuable content that attracts the right people, right? So that's important to know. Like, just create lots and lots of value. That's the whole point. So without creating content, you cannot have conversations. And without conversations, you cannot have customers. So it's really important to create your content and valuable content at that. So always give away lots and lots of value, and you will attract the right high quality people to you. Host webinars, group coaching, or live sessions to reach many people at once. So that's a great way to reach people, and build a community driven ecosystem. So just like us at Scale.A.I, we actually have unlimited community platforms available to you without extra cost, right? Or you can use an email list where people can engage on your terms. So when we talk about obviously a community driven ecosystem, it's not like in Facebook where there's so many distractions and so many algorithms and so constant messaging and constant noise, right? It's inside a truly beautiful ecosystem where it's organized, it's structured, it's built for long-term engagement, it's built for long-term relationships. Like, how many people do you know in your Facebook groups where you've been able to create a long-term engagement and relationship? Not much, right? So the evidence is it's right there. Shift from chasing leads to attracting them, basically. Now, step 4 says optimize your content and messaging for conversation. So use a mix of educational, story-driven, and call to action content to guide your prospects. So when you're doing your batch content creation, you go in intentionally deciding whether that piece of content is going to be educational, or whether it's going to be just a story that you want to share, or whether it's going to be inspirational, or whether it's going to be something that motivates them to take action. That's what we're saying here. Now, you pre-record video responses too to FAQs instead of repeating yourself, and that can be posted into your community platform where people can access and look at all the FAQs. And only then, if it's not there, they can DM you, send you a message. And what you can do is, this is something that I've learned recently, is whenever you need to answer, reply to something, or there's a big question that hasn't been answered before, just film it and do it as a video response. And you know that from there, that's going to serve one to many, right? And so one-to-one response to that person's question. So that's a real useful tip, because if you're going to have that question come up, there's a high likely chance that it's going to come up again. So you might as well create the answer once, and you create it well, so you never have to do it again. All right, popping back over. Optimize your bio and links so people know exactly how to work with you without a long conversation. So that could be just having the right links in your bio, having a beautiful Linktree type platform, which we also give for free inside of Scale.A.I's platform. You can create that under our many unlimited domains or lead landing pages. You can create one that looks beautiful, just like your Linktree, and not have to pay subscription for a Linktree. And that's all integrated as well, and the back end with all your other pages, with all your CRM and everything. And that's how you optimize it, because you're going to be able to track the metrics as well as to how often people click on the link. Is this link even useful? Is this freebie even something that people want? That's how you're going to optimize that. So work smarter. If 100 people ask the same question, create content that answers it instead of responding 100 times. That's something I just mentioned. Step 5 is build a team or support system. So train assistants or team members to handle engagement, freeing you for high level tasks. Create SOPs, standard operating procedures, to streamline repetitive processes. And I wish I had done this sooner. Because once you find the platform you need that you will use, you just film everything once and you're good to go. People, your staff, your virtual assistants, your collaborators, your partners can all go into the same set area and access how to do the SOPs. Use collaboration tools to delegate and manage tasks efficiently. And again, all this is inside of our all in one platform with no added cost. CEO mode thinking. Let's look at this. Delegate, optimize, and automate. Stop handling customer service, engagement, and follow ups manually. Train the bot to do it, train others to do it. And use KPI tracking to measure and improve performance without being in the weeds. So, literally, I would do so many things for my business. I would try every new thing under the sun. I would chase every new shiny object and throw it at my business to see what would work. But guess what? I couldn't even measure the metrics. I didn't even know if it worked. I was going by feeling. I was going by, oh, yeah, it did work. The numbers have gone up, but how would I know it was that and not just that month or that time of the year, right? So I had no real way to measure it. So you need a KPI tracking system that really can give you the metrics of how your strategy is working. And the secret to really growing in life and in business in general is to be able to go back and measure, look at it logically, create the adjustments required, and that's how you measure whether you're growing or not, and how to create new, better, more optimized techniques in your business to grow. So your business shouldn't rely solely on you. Scaling requires systems and supports. So coming back to my article, final thoughts: how to thrive without burnout. So social selling should feel exciting and fulfilling. It should free you up from the menial, mundane tasks so you can be creative. You can show up in your true essence. So burnout isn't really a requirement for success. It should never be, right? But embracing automation and authenticity is the way to go. It's about smart systems. It's about automations. So what is your challenge going to be from here on in? What is that one thing that you can automate this week or even this day? So look at all the tasks you have that you know you have to do more than once. I can tell you that's something you need to automate or delegate. What's the one task you do repeatedly that should be turned into content? So I know that I need to write articles and newsletters. Then I might as well create content about how to write articles and newsletters. Then I've literally automated that, because if I get a VA on or a PA on and they ask me, how do you create newsletters and articles? I'm like, I've created a video for that. Go watch the video. Now, what's one system you can build today to protect your time, right? I want you to have a think about that. So, final reminder: work smarter, stay authentic, let systems support your success. If you are ready to automate and scale smarter on an all in one platform, right, then get in touch with us at Scale.A.I, because we do specialize in AI powered engagement tools that can handle all your lead generation and follow ups automatically, automated workflows to streamline your sales and marketing, but also every other department in your business, and scalable solutions that can help you grow without constant manual effort. That's what we offer you. So if that's something you want to do, if you're ready to get rid of the burnout, if you're ready to scale without effort, then get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. We'd like to talk to you about how we can help you. And I hope this video was useful, it was helpful. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.